Ever since the day that you went away, you went away.
Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Andra. I make commentary videos on pop culture and influencers. Today's video is an update on a video I've made before on Amanda Ensing and her problematic behavior, because I feel like it's continued quite a lot, and just thought we could go through what she's been posting recently. But first off, I wanted to kind of retract part of what I've said about Biden. I definitely believe that Biden is, in some perspective, more dangerous than Trump. I think voting Trump out was a very, very good move for Americans, because Trump has ultimately done a lot of damage to American minorities. But I think when it comes to external policy, Biden is more cruel and worse than Trump has ever been, because I did not know that Biden was Obama's VP. Therefore, Biden was complicit to all the war crimes that Obama has committed, and I did not know that. And honestly, I shouldn't have to know about this, but the thing is, the way your country, if you're American, affects my country, and it has a military base in my country. Your country has destroyed my country in the past, so I have to know about this. And not only my country, but neighboring countries. Your country has bombed the fuck out of my neighbors in Serbia. So, you know, I have to know. Unfortunately, I did not know, and I should have mentioned in my video saying about how much I do not like Trump, and I still stand by that. I should have mentioned that Biden is a danger to the Middle East and to the global south and to the former Soviet bloc. And that is, the third one is where I'm from. So, you know, Biden is a danger to us, and I think Amanda Ensing taking the side of Trump in this debate is the same as somebody who takes the side of Biden, because they're both bad. But I just want to kind of amend that, because I watched my video back, the one I made on her before, and it kind of sounds like I'm giving my support to Biden, which I don't want it to ever come across as that. I did not know the things that he's done. Right, so let's get started with Esther. In the recent days, she's had a whole situation with Sephora. She was supposed to do this collaboration with them, and I think after the collaboration they said they no longer want to work with her because she doesn't represent their values, which is insane to me, because, like, yeah, Trump supporters are shit, but you are a massive corporation, and most corporations are conservative because being a conservative gives advantages to the middle and upper classes. It reduces taxes for the rich. Like, that's a staple of conservative parties everywhere. They tax the rich less. So I 100% believe that Sephora's CEO is behind the doors a conservative himself, and that's why it's like peak hypocrisy that people who go after people like Amanda, and you should do this because she's problematic. You should go after her, but you should also go after the corporations that are probably exactly the same as Amanda behind closed doors, but they only try to appear woke to get this customer base of like different minorities. I'm not saying stop shopping at Sephora, but I'm saying just be aware that these people don't have your best interest at heart. When she posted this, my legal team has asked Sephora for more information as to why they are ceasing the relationship. I'm disappointed a brand that claims to be inclusive seems to be excluding conservative voices. I will keep everyone updated. Ultimately, as I said, I think that being a conservative will naturally come to the rich people like Sephora owners, but I also understand why they ceased the relationships with her, because it's for posterity. It's for the way that they look. Like, it's not genuine. If it were a small business, I would understand the small business actually having morals and doing this on moral criteria, but I don't believe that Sephora actually cares. But I would lie if I said I didn't rejoice a little bit in seeing her lose revenue, because she's not a good person. Who's ready for a kick-ass conservative brand made in the USA, vegan, cruelty-free, and great formulas? Let's make makeup real again. That's so cringe. Sephora, are you also going to drop the influencers who threatened violence against me, discriminated and mocked me for my religious views and smeared my character? Or is it okay because they voted for Biden, all of your conservative and / or religious customers want to know? The thing is, people didn't make fun of you for being a Christian, people make fun of you for being cringe. Full stop. Christians are not discriminated in the West. I would say in the Middle East that's a different deal. If you're a Christian you can be discriminated, but in the West Christians are the norm. So please stop playing the victim when you're a Christian. Sephora, how does disaffiliating with me because I'm conservative fit into your core values of diversity, equality and inclusion? How do you cultivate diversity if you silence the voices that don't fit into your political agenda? Words mean nothing if you don't stand behind them. Article where they say they stand for diversity, equality and inclusion. That's not what it means, and you know that political views shouldn't have a place in makeup. And because of your political views, it doesn't mean you're a minority. Like, there are a lot of conservatives in America, it doesn't make you underprivileged, or it doesn't make you a minority, it doesn't make you discriminated. So please calm down. If you're a conservative, it means that generally you stand for at least traditional family values, which are no interracial relationships, no LGBTQ plus relationships, so no like same-sex relationships. There are certain staples of being a conservative that mean you are more traditional, and being more traditional means you ostracize different people. And a lot of conservative people will normalize Christianity to the point that they hate other religions, and you know that this is why they think that conservatives are opposite to inclusion and diversity, is because of a precedent that conservatives themselves have set for them. So please don't complain, because you know what kind of people you align yourself to. Their silence speaks volumes. Or maybe homegirl, they don't want to speak to you because you're not relevant enough. You get like, for your subscribers, you have like really low views, so maybe they just don't care to respond to you because it's not important. I would rather stand with God and be judged by the world than stand with the world and be judged by God. Again, this fucking same cringe thing that she's always posted, saying that everything bad that happens to her is God's will, is like bullshit, because sometimes you need to take accountability for your own actions and own up to your mistakes, what you did, being kind of a disaster, crying about being religiously discriminated because people call you Esther, which is what you called yourself. Like, you're only playing the victim and it doesn't look good. Good morning to everyone except Robin Hood App and Sephora. Every conservative woman should not only boycott Sephora for this, but let them know loudly why you won't be giving them your business ever again. I hope Amanda Ensing comes out with an alternative soon that takes a giant chunk out of Sephora's business. You know what? Like, I don't like her, but this... Although I'm happy that she lost her deal with them, I wouldn't really cry if Sephora lost money in favor of Amanda Ensing opening a new business either. I wouldn't care, because it's a massive corporation with a lot of money. It does not affect me. I don't like capitalism, so I would just like laugh if it happened. But the thing is, you have to admit that in this situation, they are both problematic, and them doing this to each other is like the Spider-Man meme.
I've been called every name in the book since I came out talking about my conservative and Christian values. I've even been told I'm no longer Latina.
I just find it so funny that for a video talking about conservative Christian values, she chose to wear a bralette. Like, as a feminist, I approve of everybody wearing anything that they want. However, we have to acknowledge that a lot of conservative Christians would not approve of this. So it's just weird to me that this is what she chose to appeal to the conservative Christians. You can't be basically like conservative but make it woke. It doesn't work like that.
Stop supporting brands and influencers who do not think you are worthy, who think that you are bad people because you think differently than them, you vote differently than them, or have a different faith than them.
I think, for me, the fact that she keeps making this about religion is very weird, because I genuinely don't know if she's doing this to deflect from her problematic views, or if she genuinely thinks that people are targeting her for being Christian in America. Because definitely in other countries it happens, but in America, I don't think it can happen when your whole shtick is one nation under God, and you being a Christian in America is the norm. Like, I don't really get how she thinks that she's being discriminated over this. I don't know if this is like a way of playing the victim, or if she genuinely thinks that. But if it's the second one, then it's kind of sad, because it can't be.
I've been working behind the scenes for a little over 2 years now on building my own beauty company. I'm self-funded, made in the USA, vegan, cruelty-free, clean ingredients, amazing formulas. I cannot wait to share it with you guys this year.
And I started to believe that maybe if this brand that she's talking about has been on her mind for 2 years, like she said, then maybe this whole Sephora scandal was kind of planned in order to promote her brand. Maybe it was like a PR thing. Because if she genuinely has a brand now, and it's not gonna be some like drop shipping thing, if it's gonna be her actual formulas and stuff, then that obviously takes time. So if this was already planned, maybe she is capitalizing off of this controversy that maybe she created on purpose, but maybe not. Maybe this Sephora thing just happened on its own, but now she's using it to the max to promote her brand, which I don't know if that's the most ethical way to come forward with your own ideas, but whatever. Good for her, I guess, I don't know.
So I've been working on my brand for a little over 2 years. So my brand's going to be launching later this year. And then we also started a fun project called makeupgreatagain.com that's going to be launching. So my whole goal is to make the beauty industry great again. There are so many conservatives who feel like they're alienated, feel like they are terrified to speak about their support for their conservative views, their religious views. And I want to make a space inclusive of everyone, that people can feel like they have a place at the table, because makeup shouldn't be political, right? Makeup is for everybody.
Yeah.
I find it so funny that they put the stocks there, and the last one is the owner of Sephora, also owns all of these companies like Louis Vuitton and everything. And I just thought it's so funny that they put the stocks there to prove that Sephora stock is dropping. Like, oh my god. But no, I think definitely makeup should not be political, but I also think that brands have the choice on who they want to affiliate with and who they want to be associated with, because they are private. So it's not something that, if you want capitalism, you can't complain about these things. That's my whole thing. And you say you're oppressed for being conservative, whatever. Like, you do know that communists have been killed for simply being communists, right? Like, you're not the victim here. We are the victims because you destroyed our communist countries, because you hated us. Like, why is American revisionism such a thing that they will turn around and be the victims when historically they've been the aggressors in most, if not all, cases?
According to Business Insider, a Sephora representative told Insider the company stopped working with Ensing after it was recently made aware of concerning behavior from the influencer on social media. In quotes, most recently she made light of the violence and tragic loss of a life at our nation's capital last month, the representative said. For this reason, we made the decision to cease all programming with her indefinitely, including having the video she created through an external vendor taken down. They furthered, in quotes, any claim that this decision was made on the basis of political or religious beliefs is inaccurate. We respect each individual's rights to have their own perspectives and freedom of expression, which I'm not buying. Thousands, if not millions of Americans aren't buying it, because if you truly cared about inclusion and political and religious beliefs, you would actually apologize for the way you've ignored all of the conservatives and non-conservatives expressing their concern for what you're doing to me on your pages, instead of allegedly deleting thousands of comments. You're just trying to smear the little guy and smear me because you think you're a big bad business. This is what the left always does with their cancel culture. They will twist and manipulate everything to try to make you look like a bad person, to call you a domestic terrorist, to call you violent, to call you all of these things.
Okay, so again, the left hates the big guys just as much as you do. The left advocates for the little guy, for the working class. So please don't fucking blame this on the left. Blame it on the liberals if you want. And I can agree that, yes, the customer service that I've seen in the live chats and stuff with different conservative people have been very rude. Just standard copy-paste customer service responses, which are not professional at all. They're not what people deserve. Even if I don't like conservatives, obviously, it doesn't mean that they don't deserve to have a good service, because that's what they're paying for. So, yeah, on this thing I would agree with her, but also her lipstick is like so outside of her lips that it looks funny. It looks like one of those filters on Instagram that make her lips big.
I mean, it's literally, the identity politics is outrageous. The left thinks they can tell you you're not Latina enough, or you're not part of your ethnicity if you're not as tan certain parts of the year. I've even seen pictures of me wearing a blonde wig, saying that I am blackfishing now because I'm growing out my curly hair, my natural curls, and because I was tan during the summer. I mean, it's just absurd. Who are you to tell me what's in my blood, what flows through my veins? It's disgusting what these people are trying to do.
I wonder when this girl is gonna realize that, first of all, the left, the real left, does not like identity politics. That is not to say that the left doesn't respect different identities. We do. But the left always uses different identities in the context of class politics and class dynamics and proletariat versus bourgeoisie. That's what the left does. The left talks about class analysis. It's not centered around identity politics. That is only fucking like liberals. Again, Amanda Ensing, you did poli-sci. You should know that the left, socialists and communists and whatever else, even I think anarchists, I don't really know a lot about anarchists because I don't consider myself that. I don't really like what I know of their ideology, but I don't know it in depth. But yeah, anarchists, most of them are far left as well. And they would not like this kind of shit as well. So I don't know why you're blaming this on us when you should blame it on liberals. And also, you can be white and Latina. Latina is not a race. Race is something that is not really a fixed science. It's more like a political thing. And ethnicity is obviously about your place of birth and your DNA. So you can be white and Latina. These things are not mutually exclusive. Like, I'm white, but I'm Slavic, Eastern European, I'm not Westerner. So it's like not the same DNA at all and not the same culture at all. So obviously I'm a separate ethnicity, but I'm still white.
Political and religious beliefs are our American rights, but it seems that they have not been treated this way lately. The brands that I have worked with and continue to partner with do not care about my political or religious beliefs, and I would need a guarantee that the advertiser, which is Sephora, in this case, will uphold an influencer's right to use their voice. I am always upfront and honest with every advertiser I consider working with. I have seen Sephora in particular work with creators on both sides of the spectrum. My channel has always been about love, light, and unity. I cannot create a project at the risk of not getting compensated for what is agreed. Now, that's what I said. Let me read to you Reward Style's response. Please let me assure you that we do not discriminate against any political or religious group, and this clause is not enacted to do that. Sephora and Reward Style respect differing views, and this would only ever be referenced in extreme situations such as violence or hate speech. We cannot remove the clause, but I understand if you choose not to move forward.
So, regarding this part, I do not understand why Amanda thinks that religion and political views have to be connected. Because, let's talk about mine, for example, because that's like the easiest example I can give. So, I am a Marxist-Leninist, but I am religious. And a lot of Marxists are kind of against religion, and historically, Marxist states like the USSR have been kind of repressive to religions because of some things that Marx has said that were taken out of context, to be honest. And I do not agree with that. I think you can be religious and be a communist and be perfectly happy and aligned with both of these things. They don't have to be, like, communism and atheism don't have to go hand in hand, in the same way that being a conservative and being a Christian, or being Republican and Christian, don't have to go hand in hand. So the fact that she keeps putting them together as if they are mandatory to be together is just weird to me, because I know a lot of Christians who are really progressive and they would never ever vote for a right-wing party, and they are Christians, and I know Christian communists. So for me, it's just really weird. This is why Marx advocates for the separation of the church and the state, because of people like this who pin every single problem that they've ever caused on the church. Like, I do not understand this mentality at all. And regarding the whole situation with her showing receipts that Sephora and the Reward Style, which is probably the middleman, have agreed that they won't stop working with her because she's right-wing and Christian. Mostly right-wing, because Christian is not a problem. Again, it's the norm in the USA. The fact that they agreed and now they did this, that means she can sue them, and like, good for her, I don't care, because in this situation both of them are bad people. Like, corporations and big people in the corporation are always bad, and Amanda Ensing is clearly not a good person either. So in this case, I do not care if they're gonna fight each other, whatever, less problems for us on the left. So I would say, Amanda baby, sue them, because that's what you can do. You have the proof, so why are you showing it online? And there is a thing that she said here, you make my case stronger every day, which makes me think that she does want to go to court with this.
My mother did not come here from Puerto Rico, risk and sacrifice everything to live in the America that we're living in right now, where you are silenced, censored, or denied work because of your political or religious views.
The same thing again, she's putting politics and religion together for no reason. Once again, talking about her mom coming to America. I wonder, how many times have you or your mother been discriminated for being from a South American country? Has that been something that would have maybe dissuaded you from going on the right wing of politics? Or like, how did you end up being right wing? Because I'm sure that if you've been discriminated, it was mostly, if not always, by the right wing. So I'm just curious about this.
If Sephora or any makeup brand had done this to someone who was not conservative or someone that was liberal, I would stand up for them as well. No matter what side of the spectrum it's on, to discriminate against people because of their religious or political views is wrong.
Okay, but you discriminate against communists. You always bring up conservative versus liberal because America doesn't really have a organized left wing, but you have said a lot of shit about us, about China specifically, in your tweets. Therefore, I'm inclined to believe you are bigoted against communists. And you know who else was bigoted against communists and killed us by millions? Fucking Nazis. So I do not understand why you think that this debate is only restricted to conservative versus liberal. There are more political views than conservative and liberal.
So I've worked with Sephora several times in my 9 years doing this. with this one in particular, it wasn't until after everything was approved and I had done my part that they then wanted to pull out and also, obviously, like I said, threaten not to pay me.
And again, as I said, I think if you've done the work and if you have the proof that they were gonna pay you and they didn't pay you, you should sue them. It's within your rights, Amanda. Like, in this case, I would genuinely support her doing this.
So not a lot of beauty sponsorships. For the most part, most brands stay away from anyone that's conservative. If you're a liberal, it's fine. I had another brand, which I won't name, literally sponsor an influencer who wore an F Trump merch and said it. They're fine. Me not saying anything bad, I'm not. I'm no longer in their value system. So for me, I've been working on my beauty brand for the last 2 years. It's made in the USA, clean, vegan, cruelty-free. I can't wait to launch that later this year. I also started a fun project called makeupgreatagain.com, which we're going to be launching some really fun stuff later this week. But, my goal is to keep changing the industry. I won't be silenced.
I do think you should not be silenced, and I think you should make whatever kind of makeup brand you want. I think people who want to censor people just for being conservatives are not really about freedom. I do not like conservatives, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be allowed to do basic things that I'm allowed to do. Equality means equality for everyone. And me having a personal grudge against conservatives because I am a ethnic minority, immigrant, bisexual woman, so yeah, I will have a grudge against conservatives, but it doesn't mean that I want their rights to be obstructed. Like, it makes no sense to any equality movement when I see people being like, at the Capitol riot, the police should have shot people because they shot people at the BLM protests. No, ideally they should not have shot people at either of these. That is what should have happened. They shouldn't have been let into the building, of course. But asking for violence only because it's the side you don't like, that's not actually equality. And I think we need to confront that. If she wants to make Makeup Great Again website or whatever, that's her prerogative and that's fine. Let her fucking do it. Watching all of these videos honestly just made me sympathize with her. Not because I think she's right, because I don't, and I don't like anything that she stands for. But I genuinely think she believes what she's saying. It's quite sad how strongly she believes that she's being discriminated for her religion, when this is not true. I think she just told herself this so many times because she doesn't want to confront her problematic political views. So she tried to find a scapegoat, and now she's going with this story so much that she started to believe in it. And it just makes me a little sad for her. There's also this comment when basically Amanda Ensing hearted a homophobic comment. But she says she stands for love, light and unity. For who? I would like to ask you, for who do you want the love, light and unity? Another thing that Amanda Ensing has been doing in this past few weeks is being racist to multiple POC creators. She posted this tweet saying, "The left, I hate it here, America is embarrassing, only we can riot and loot, defund the police, just do what the government tells you and don't ask questions. The right, let's fight for freedom, we love the USA, defend the constitution, we support our military and law enforcement. Defund Amanda Ensing." And honestly, that's, the left is not talking about rioting and looting and whatever as a core value of the left. Like, it has nothing to do with that. The left wants America to own up to its history of harassment, white supremacy and imperialism. And saying just do what the government tells you and don't ask questions is the opposite of what the left wants. The left wants a different government than just rich people, rich white men. This is not what the left wants. We love the USA. Why do you love the USA? The USA has done nothing but oppress others. What do you love about it? Do you love the American dream, which is obviously fiction? It's not real. Is that what you love about the USA? Or do you actually love the decades of imperialism and torturing other people? In response, Amanda said, "No one is hated more than the one who tells the truth." Question, did you ever end up paying your taxes? Right, so you're accusing a black woman of not paying her taxes. I wonder if this has any actual proof to it or if it was just a racist thing, because I don't really know anything about this person. So I don't know if this is like something that people have been saying or if it's just something Amanda said. I love how what you said to both Shayla and Jackie came from the mouth of fucking racist. Go stick to your TikTok sources, you weak ass bitch. You would not have this energy at all if this was in person, and you know that. This is by Alyssa Ashley, who also said, "And if you choose to respond to me, I am begging you to make sure it's something you will say to me in person, because second shit reopens, I'll be sure that you do." This I like this attitude. This is something that reminds me of home, like in the Balkans. We just do it face to face, we argue properly. We don't fucking do the keyboard warrior shit. In response to Alyssa Ashley, she said, "Happy to meet up anytime people are racist because they don't vote like you do. The anger and derangement from the left is at an all-time high. Do you need a hug?" Jackie Aina responded, meet up and do what, she's not gonna let you use her foundation. And Makeup by Sheila said people showing up at Capitol doesn't mean he won. Just like you curling your hair and tanning your skin doesn't mean you're mixed. And this is a thing that she's been doing. She's been blackfishing a little. It's the anti-racist party being racist and telling POC they aren't POC if they don't vote Democrat for me. How are you going to use AAV to try to check on black women? Are you okay? Makeup by Sheila, what was your degree in again? Right, baby, if you have a degree in poli-sci, it just means you're brainwashed a little. Like, it's not a quality degree. I'm sorry to tell you, but poli-sci only shows you more conservative views, or sometimes liberal. But it never shows you all the spectrum of political views that you can possibly have. I can say I'm surprised this is coming from the person who told another influencer she should get filler because her face was disproportionately. And if that's true, that's really horrible, but it doesn't mean you should be racist just because of that. You can call someone out without accusing them of not paying their taxes and stuff. At least bring the proof, girl. Regarding the Makeup by Sheila thing, saying to somebody that she needs to get filler, the only other person that I've heard talking about this has been Jeffree Star. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm just saying Jeffree Star is not the most reliable source. So I'm gonna pretty much not comment on that whole situation because I feel like we don't know for sure, and the only two people who've mentioned this are Amanda Ensing and Jeffree Star, and they both are not the greatest people. Jackie Aina mockingly called her Esther and she got mad. If you're going to call me Esther, capitalize the E. Don't you have a Bible verse in your YouTube description bar? It was just a joke. It doesn't matter. Capitalize the E. Bro, maybe she's typing from her computer and she was too lazy to put the caps lock or whatever. Like, it's not a big deal. Oh, and aren't you good friends with Naomi Campbell? Isn't she on Epstein's flight logs? I've seen that and I don't like Naomi Campbell. So this is the only thing I will back Amanda Ensing on. She's questioning this whole thing, and after that Naomi Campbell disabled her comments, so it's all sus. That whole deal, like, I made a video about Anonymous before, so if you want to check it, I'll post it somewhere up. And these are the photos that people have been exposing her for. She looks like different ethnicities in these pictures, which I can see. She retweeted this saying everyone's true colors were revealed today, and somebody said including her own. I cannot with the irony, Jesus. And yeah, that's not wrong, you know. And this is, I think, maybe Jackie Aina's sister. She said, Amanda Ensing, your family will suffer for generations. You will burn on Judgment Day. Please keep my sister's name out of your wretched Republican mouth. Okay, this was kind of rude but also funny. Like, I don't hold this against her because genuinely Amanda is targeting a deliberate demographic, if you get what I mean. And I genuinely feel like, not necessarily that she is doing this intentionally to be racist, but I feel like somewhere in her subconscious this is happening, because for me it's like being raised in Eastern Europe, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the more liberal perspectives of you can't criticize this person because you're racist if you do. Like, no, I think you should criticize everyone equally, and that's what I'm doing. If you're an asshole, I don't care if you're gay, black, a woman, or whatever. Like, I don't care, transgender, I genuinely don't care. I will treat everybody equally. If they do something wrong, I'm gonna call them out. But there is a weird pattern when you argue with, like, at this point on that day it was like 4 black women on the same day. So it's definitely like a weird pattern there. And she also got in fights with Manny MUA because somebody asked him thoughts on Amanda Ensing and he said, you mean Esther. And she said, it's respect religion until it's Christianity. Is Christianity a joke to you? Let us all know. No, girl, you're the joke. It's not the Christianity is a joke. It's that you are a joke. And she also argued with Gabriel Zamora. So she's like literally fighting the whole fucking community that she's part of. This is entertainment to you. I'm embarrassed for you. This is what he said, and then she responded, embarrassed for me, you're supporting the pedophiles and communists trying to take over the country. Go back to sucking up to Jeffree so you can continue to have a career. Sis, communism is not taking over your country. You took over our communist countries. Your fucking CIA took over my fucking country when it was communist and we were all having a better life than we do now. So maybe fucking look in a mirror. America is doing all of these things that you are saying we are doing. Like, what? Another thing that Amanda Ensing has been busy doing is being xenophobic, which I expected, obviously. She said this, so the FBI can solve a bombing in under a day, but give them Hunter's laptops, Hillary's emails, Epstein's black book, and proof of play for pay in Ukraine years later. They don't even know they have it. Right, and you guys ruined Ukraine, so maybe don't fucking blame us for your shit. Don't. Evidence of foreign influence in 2020 election, Nevada Secretary of State, and that's the Pakistan flag, I think. Like, what's it doing there? A video showing a Chinese company printing fake ballots. They told the buyer the only thing they couldn't match was magnetic ink. This is why Donald Trump keeps calling for forensic audits of machines. Why are citizens doing the job that the Secretary of State should be doing? Just like we are supposed to believe the FBI solved the Nashville bombing in 46 hours, but in 2 months have done no investigation into the election. So this is going to be a bit of tinfoil hat. I do believe that the fake ballots were put there on purpose by some people, and saying that Chinese people won this election is the same as what happened with Trump winning the election, Russiagate. Russiagate is just liberals' way of being xenophobic to us Eastern Europeans, and it's horrible. And now it's xenophobia because of 2020 and COVID. It increased the anti-Chinese discrimination and anti-China discrimination in general, and anti-communist propaganda. This is a new Red Scare. This is basically America saying we want to do the second Cold War, but now it's China and not Russia, or USSR rather. And because of that, you know, being a part of one of these, being from the former Eastern Bloc, I do not trust anything that talks about, you know, other countries, specifically communist ones, being dangerous. It's only America's MO for destroying communism. They try to find a loophole saying that they did this to us, so now we're gonna attack them and destroy communism. Twitter has permanently suspended President Trump's account, but allows China to freely use its platform to push propaganda justifying ethnic genocide. Iran's leaders are on Twitter, tweeting their desire to destroy Israel, big tech tyranny. Right, and again, this is discrimination. Iran has been totally oppressed by America, and Israel has been oppressing their brothers in the Middle East, so of course Iran is gonna be on the side of, you know, the right side of history, pretty much on the side of Palestine, and saying that China is pushing propaganda, it's kind of sus because it genuinely has no proof other than this guy named Adrian Zenz, who has me blocked because I called him out. Maybe wait for more proof before you make up your own mind, because you think that everything coming out of China is propaganda, but not everything coming out of America? What? Your behavior regarding China's genocide is concerning, at least because you know that America has concentration camps, so maybe worry about those first, and then you can talk about other countries. So the Ayatollah and numerous other dictatorial regimes can have Twitter accounts with no issue despite threatening genocide to entire countries and killing homosexuals, etc. Homosexuals! That's actually like, bro, don't call them homosexuals. It's actually like not a nice way to say gay people. Just say LGBTQ plus people, it's not so hard. But the President of the United States should be permanently suspended. Mao would be proud. Again, talking shit about a communist leader because you think that this makes you some smart ass fucking person. Did you ever read Mao? Like, did you? Because I don't believe these fucking people, Trump's family, had a book in their hand ever. And saying that these people are threatening genocide and whatever, like, what is Trump doing? Do you remember when Trump was saying he's going to nuke North Korea? Do you remember when Trump was making fun of Iran on Twitter? Do you remember when Trump said when the looting starts, the shooting starts? Like, who is threatening genocide here? Because Trump is doing the same, and he deserved this. And Twitter is a private company, it's not a state-owned company. They don't have the obligation to keep politicians there. They don't. New Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe claims that China interfered with the 2020 election and that information was suppressed by the CIA management. And this is the alleged proof. The thing is, the CIA lies. They have been famous to, you know, lie about us in the Soviet bloc, and I'm going back to this because this happened to my fucking people, and I can talk about it. They lied about the gulags, and then later on they said they lied. So don't fucking trust America on anything. Don't. And now we're gonna get onto a funnier, more entertaining part. Her weird Christmas post. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad. Today we celebrate when Jesus became man, the word became flesh. I pray that 2021 is filled with love, health, and joy for us all of you. And I think I respect religious people. I was Christian before, and I'm still religious. I'm a pagan, and I still consider myself deeply religious, but she's made her whole personality be about Trump and religion. So she has no other personality, and it's just kind of cringe to watch. She posted this with her and her boyfriend, and they have full-on Trump Christmas merchandise, which is so cringe. How to be a rebel in 2020, love God, love your country, and think for yourself. Yeah, you're a rebel because you love the imperialistic machine that is America, that destroys our countries. You shouldn't love America. You should want America to become better, sure, but you shouldn't love it as it is now because it's caused a lot of pain for people. It's caused PTSD to people. I'll say it again for the people in the back, I don't care who likes my political views. I won't bow down to the beauty mob who knows nothing about politics. Okay, and you do, because in your video saying that you're going to talk about Trump's policies, you only talked about religion. So if you are the authority on politics, can you please explain to me what Trump exactly did that was good? People can kick and scream, but you won't change my mind. Lions can understand the mentality of shit. And now this is the last part. It's just some different random things that she said. She posted this saying time for a revolution, but you're against communists, but revolution is in mostly a thing that communists have been doing historically. So it's just kind of weird behavior to appropriate historical events related to socialists and communists, like the French Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution, and like multiple ones have been related to that, and now you're appropriating it to your fucking conservative shit. I wanted to add to this part that revolution implies revolting against the establishment, and Trump himself is the establishment. So what you did at the Capitol, and if you will continue to do Trump supporting protests, that is not a revolution, because you are fighting to uphold the oppressive establishment instead of tearing it down. So it wouldn't really classify as a revolution, in my opinion. You have enemies, good, that means you've stood up for something sometime in your life. Winston Churchill. So you are retweeting about Churchill, a man who was racist, pro-colonization of Africa and different places in Asia, because he said that those people were inferior to the British people. So he said POC are inferior. He started out people in India and didn't want to help the Soviet Union in World War II to kill the Nazis, because he wanted the Nazis to kill us, and then he was gonna come and claim the glory on whatever side was left with their weakened forces. England was gonna probably colonize the rest of Europe, and they refused to help Stalin multiple times after he asked, is this your fucking role model? I don't get it. The left will say Latinos don't claim you, as if any human being is something that can be claimed. It's just a meme. Why are you taking it so seriously? I will never understand how so many Americans are willing to accept a rigged election because they hate Trump. This isn't about Trump, it's about integrity in our elections. Letting corrupt elites speak for us is saying they know what's better for the nation than we the people do. Right, but people have been saying that the 2016 election was rigged because us in Eastern Europe, and specifically Putin, has interfered with it, which is not true, obviously. And you can accept Russiagate, which is the liberal way of what you're doing now, saying China interfered, is like exactly what the liberals did in 2016. Like, I thought you are different, I thought you are above the liberals. Why are you doing the same thing that they did? It doesn't matter who you voted for, your vote didn't matter either way. The election was stolen from the people, the government doesn't care about us, and it's not going to save us. And another thing I was gonna say is in 2016, as far as I know, Hillary got more votes, but then Trump got the Electoral College, so Trump won, although he wasn't the most voted one, so maybe that would be, in a way, somebody stealing the elections, in my opinion. As an European, where we vote and it matters only like how we, the people, vote, there is no Electoral College. So for me, that is already rigged by the system itself. Stop making this about party. This isn't about red or blue, it's about the federal government and the elite playing chess, and we are the pawns. If what's happening doesn't infuriate you, you're not paying attention. Okay, so this sounds exactly like what a communist would say. So I just find it funny how Amanda Ensing hates communists, but she spews communist ideology all over her timeline without even realizing. I thought you did policy, you should know this. People want to expose influencers for petty things, but don't care to expose their government for stealing their money. No, communists do this. We do this all the time. Telling people to stay out of politics is what has led us to this very moment. We have become complacent in letting the elite and federal government control every aspect of the USA. It's time to take back our nation and our freedoms. Right, but Trump was a millionaire before this, so how is he not the elite as well? Like, I don't understand. It's not like Trump is some random working class trucker. Like our communist president in Romania, which, you know, he was a questionable person. Nicolae Ceausescu, if you want to Google, he was questionable. He's not a good person by any means, but he was a shoemaker before he was president. He was a full-on, like, working class person. So in this situation and in this circumstance, I praise him for being where he was as a working class person, because you're never gonna see this in America. It's only rich people. And she retweeted this. Oh my god, the Georgia witness that filmed ballots being shredded called 911 and no one came. When she went to the police precinct later, they said they were told not to respond to election related calls. Yeah, because a lot of them are fake. It's not some conspiracy. They probably were very busy around that time. Normalize accepting a defeat, not when accomplished by cheating. Normalize changing your mind when presented with facts, make critical thinking great again. So can you normalize no longer supporting Trump because he's questionable? And you can hate Biden and Trump, you know. Just join the club, Amanda. 2020 are socially accepted if you're a Democrat and have the right to be mean and insult Republicans. Meanwhile, Republicans aren't allowed to speak or have jobs. If they do, they are censored or hurt your feelings. This is America. Haters are just confused supporters. You don't pay attention to things you hate. When I go to a restaurant, I don't spend time focusing on food I don't like. No, because the things that we don't like when it comes to politics are affecting us, minorities and working class. Like, it's not the same. They are directly affecting us. They are endangering our lives. So we have to spend time thinking about this. Do you think I want to talk about America? It's not even my country. Why would I want to talk about it? If not because it affects my country. Because you guys don't want to take your military base out of my country. You'll always be too loud for those afraid of what you have to say. Nobody's afraid of you. Somebody made fun about her having a degree in poli-sci but not doing anything with it, which I don't think it should be something to make fun of, but at the same time, Amanda doesn't seem to be very bright when it comes to policy. So in this case, I'll let it slide. Jealousy and bitterness at its finest. Having millions of followers in beauty and motivational content means doing nothing with my life. I decided to skip the thousands in law school debt and follow my passion in the beauty realm. I do well for myself, but I didn't need to tell that. Okay, and I think in this, yeah, she's hardworking. In this regard, I can respect that, but at the same time, her views are very low for her subscriber count, so I don't know, maybe there's some truth to this. Being bullied for my freedom of speech and different political opinion while I mind my own business now equates to jealousy of others. Can you stop tweeting my every move if I'm irrelevant? You're attacking people who criticize you validly instead of just being, taking a step back and maybe analyzing why you lost the support of certain people and now you gain the support of conservatives who probably don't even like you because you're Latina. So I don't know, I would reevaluate my behavior if I were you. Question for people that think they can bully others into submission or to apologize for their beliefs and freedoms. Are you okay? Do you need a hug? You're starting to concern those of us who actually show love to others. We can't comprehend the unfounded hate and bitterness. The moment you start apologizing for your truth is the moment you are free. Why should some opinions be acceptable and others aren't? Fault policing and virtue signaling is okay. If you don't like me, unfollow. I won't stop speaking because you disagree. I'm always open to mature conversation, but I won't tolerate name calling and ugliness. We don't treat people like that on my space. I've always shown nothing but love and light. Either stay for the ride or see yourself out. So you are confusing criticism with hate. I'm sure you received some hate, but you received some valid criticism. And another thing I want to say is you act like you're so tolerant and loving and you want to have conversations, but you propagate Red Scare propaganda and you damage my people, Eastern Europeans, through doing that. So I'm not sure you're all about love when you are xenophobic as fuck and you are just spewing Cold War propaganda. She retweeted this bullshit the year Trump made peace in the Middle East and mainstream media didn't care. No, because Israel shouldn't be in the Middle East. And this is not me saying Jewish people shouldn't be in the Middle East. They should live there. They should be able to live wherever they want. But Israel as a state is a British colony made by Balfour. He's the one who came with the fucking idea, and it's literally like an European colony in the Middle East. So no, it shouldn't make peace with the other Middle Eastern countries that should already be there historically, that they have a right to be there. Israel didn't earn a right to be a thing. It got there because America and England and the UK in general backed it up. So it's genuinely not something to praise that America forced other countries to tolerate its colony. Because England and America, they're like brothers, right? So everything England does is backed by America and the other way around. To give more context to the peace talks with Israel and other Middle Eastern countries, unfortunately, sanctions and different threats by the US and other Western powers have been what forced these countries to work with Israel and to make different peace talks. So a lot of these countries have had their sanctions lifted after they said they're gonna have peace with Israel. And other countries have been removed from the terror list. And basically this is all blackmail and threats and empty promises in order to get them to cooperate and shut up. So this is not really peace, in my opinion. God blesses those who are persecuted for doing right, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. God blesses you when people mock you and persecute you and lie about you and say all sorts of evil things about you because you are one of my followers. Be happy about it, be very glad, for a great reward awaits you in heaven. So it's again the same thing, using religion to deflect from her problematic behavior, which she's been doing a lot of. And I don't know, I don't like it. I think deflecting everything onto God and the Bible is making it harder for you to actually listen to criticism that is valid, because it's coming from people and you think that God obviously is above people, but that doesn't mean that people are not worthy of being listened to. Joe Biden's Georgia rally livestream had 2,000 live viewers. Donald Trump's Georgia rally has well over 400,000 live viewers. What does this tell you? That Trump's fans are obsessed with him and that Joe Biden does not really have supporters. A lot of them wanted Bernie Sanders and they have to vote for Biden because they hate Trump. Or that some people are hate watching Trump's live stream. Like, this doesn't really help any argument here. Make no mistake, future historians will likely call this time in history the Great Information World War. No, that's the Cold War. When you guys lied about us, that's what will they call this in the future. The light shines in darkness and darkness can never extinguish it. Again, she thinks that she has the higher moral ground because she's religious. Honey, there are so many religious people in history. And you're not better than anyone in this world. Like, we're all equal in the eyes of your God. So maybe just sit. She posted this cringe picture of Trump saying it would be biblical and put the lion emoji. But Trump doesn't look like a lion here. He just looks like an old, sad man. Join me in saying a prayer right now for President Trump and our nation. May God protect him and everyone working to save our country. May every lie be revealed. Still think Biden won't make America great again. So she's happy about the Capitol coup attempt. Would you even call it that? because they're like defending the establishment, so I don't know. But yeah, she's happy about that. People died there. Your own people, conservatives, so why are you happy for their deaths? I don't get it. In the end, we will know God has orchestrated it all. He will show his strength and his plan that no man could have accomplished on their own. I don't know if that is actually true, because come to think about it, the little Capitol stunt that you guys pulled, it did nothing, and now Biden's president. So I don't know. I just feel like it's so weird that you are kind of creating God for what happened in the Capitol, because I don't think God would approve of those actions in particular, so I don't know. And she retweeted this tweet by AOC. The whole point of protesting is to make people uncomfortable. Hey AOC, this did not age well. And here's the thing, I don't like what happened in the Capitol, but that's not just protesting. I would be fine with protests on both sides, because that is a right that people should have. People should have the right to protest things that they don't agree with. But going into a building that is off limits to the people is not protesting. It's, as people have said, could be interpreted as domestic terrorism. I don't think in this particular case it was as dangerous as terrorism would have been, because it was just a bunch of fools going into the building. But it could have turned into a hostage situation, because I think a few people had different tools with them that could have been used to tie people up. So like politicians that were in the building. So it could have turned into something really, really bad. It was funny to watch it. I'm not gonna lie, from the perspective of somebody who is not American, it was really fun to watch. But if something like that would have happened, obviously it wouldn't be funny now to look back at it. There's not enough popcorn in the world for what's about to happen. This is referring to the amount of corruption about to be revealed in our government. As usual, the left twists our words. So this was like an hour apart, and I just feel like you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were saying, and now you try to find a way out for what you said. I do not believe that this is what it was about. I think she just changed the narrative when people started to attack her for it. To clarify, this was not condoning violence at the Capitol. Violence is never okay, no matter which party it is. I was referring to corruption I believe will be exposed in the coming weeks and would be set in stone after certification of a rigged election. That was not my intention. Again, I just feel like she got caught with saying something problematic and tried to backtrack because she was scared of the reaction. She also retweeted dangerous white supremacist Candace Owens. My hope is that all violent agitators are arrested and their names are revealed publicly. Call it a hunch, but my guess is there are still Antifa tags in the mix. Right. Let's talk about Antifa for a minute. So Antifa is a movement, but it's a decentralized movement. So that means they don't have actual organizations that could be pointed at. So you don't really know what Antifa is and how many people, like, Antifa just stands for being against fascism. So naturally everybody should be Antifa. Like it's not a movement, it's not like a political party or whatever. It's not something you can point your fingers at and blame. So I don't really understand the scapegoating of Antifa in every single situation. Pray for justice and truth, pray for protection and safety. We need peace. You need peace, but you are praising the people at the Capitol. Some of them there did not look for peace. Some of them I feel like they went in just because they were bored, but some of them, as I said, they had different things with them that could have pointed out that they were ready to do something illegal and violent. So I don't know why you're rooting for these people. Somebody tweeted at her saying, read the room, Esther, and she said, always smoking God, everyone will have to answer to him one day, right? Esther is not God, she's a person from the Bible, and you are not God, you're a person. So I don't really understand how making fun of Esther is making fun of God, because God himself did not write the Bible, a bunch of people wrote the Bible. So yeah, I don't get why you are hiding behind God all the time. When people say something you don't like, you're like, oh no, they're repressing my religion. Like, girl, nobody fucking cares about your religion. This has never been about Trump. This was always about exposing the corruption on both sides in our federal government. You can dislike Trump but still acknowledge the election fraud. Fighting with each other isn't going to get anyone anywhere. It's the people versus the swamp. Trump isn't a politician, he's a businessman. He isn't a globalist and isn't on the evil establishment side. He is the only person to have the courage to fight the corruption that many of us have been asleep to for decades. The people have been waking up and are fed up. The only person who has the courage to fight the corruption. Girl, have you heard about the Black Panther Party? They were communists. Have you heard about people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X? Also communists, who have been fighting for your fucking country. Trump is the establishment. Trump is a rich white man. That's basically the establishment. He is not for the people because he doesn't know what it's like to live a humble working class life, paycheck to paycheck. He doesn't know that, so he's not gonna see to the interests of the working class and portraying globalism like something bad when America has military bases everywhere and Trump did not take the people off of those territories. So I think he is exactly the bad type of globalist, not the good one. When justice is done, it is a joy to the righteous, but terror to evildoers. Again, Bible quotes. I don't see any justice having been done after the Capitol. Nothing happened. It was just a thing that happened and people went on with their lives right after. Patriots, I understand many of you are losing patience, friends, time from personal life, family, etc. But it will not be in vain. God has chosen us for this time in history. The battle is fierce, but God chose the best, so hold the line and keep fighting. Again, what battle? Because nothing fucking happened. You guys kept saying that it's gonna turn into something amazing, whatever, biblical for you, but nothing happened. If people cared about the well-being and freedoms of the USA, they would open up dialogue with others instead of attacking because CNN said so. The lines have been drawn and it smells like 1776. The people deserve the truth. You are talking about dialogue, but you slander communists all the time. You slander China, you slander Russia, you slander Ukraine. Like, who do you want to have dialogue with? Is it just liberals? Because what about the rest of us? Do we not deserve to be involved in dialogue because we are too far left for you? You say that you're so tolerant and you want to talk to the left. What you want to talk to and who you want to talk to is just centrists, liberals. Liberals are not the left. And if you think that I am fooled by this, if you think that I do not understand your intentions, you want to talk to the more moderate people, and you want to portray yourself as somebody tolerant for talking to liberals. But if you studied poli-sci for real, you would know that the liberals are not the left. It's the ones who are against you who believe in your power the most. Haters mean you stood up for something in your life. It's why they hate Trump and it's why they hate you for seeing past the MSM propaganda. He was never going to play by the swamp's rules. No weapon formed against you shall prosper and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord and their vindication is from me. Again, with the Bible quotes as always, I think you have haters because you aligned yourself with racists, and I think that is a very dangerous rhetoric that you say that everybody who has haters has stood up for something right in their life, because there are people who have haters, as you say, and these people are racists, sexists, even like criminals, murderers, rapists, whatever. They have haters. That doesn't mean they did something right. Leftists are so blind by the hatred for Trump that they do not understand how absolutely terrifying it is that tech companies can censor the sitting president of the United States. They will not get it until all of their freedoms are gone. They are blinded by hate. Regarding this, I can only say that social media companies are private companies and they can choose who to have there. They have no obligation to give a platform to a politician. That is why you have your own televisions that can give a platform to politicians. The internet is mostly with different private websites, and the left is not blinded by that. The left understands that the internet should be public, and the left, not liberals, the actual left, we want the internet to be public. We do not want private companies on the internet. Look at Jeremy Corbyn in England. I don't think America has a correspondent that is as open-minded as Jeremy Corbyn. But yeah, Bernie Sanders is not nearly as far left as Jeremy Corbyn. So yeah, look at that. Jeremy Corbyn wanted to make the internet free for everybody, and with that, that would be a start of making everything public and owned by the people, not owned by corporations. Apple has given Parler a 24-hour ultimatum to implement a modernization plan or it's getting scrubbed from the App Store. Again, the same thing. They have no obligation to keep companies just because you want them to. Apple is a private company. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Your constitution, your capitalistic market system allows for that, so maybe blame it on the right thing, not blame it on us, the leftists, for not saying anything about it, because we are only letting you have a taste of your own medicine. You want private property, you want private companies, here they are. And she retweeted this: do socialists get cancelled for the horrendous things they say about politics? Unequivocally, the answer is no. So how can right-wingers be the fascists when they don't seek to unperson, cancel or censor those who disagree with them the way leftists are doing right now? No, that's liberals. Leftists don't do this. Do socialists get cancelled for the horrendous things they say? I wouldn't say we say anything horrendous, but I would say, yeah, socialists definitely get discriminated. Socialists have been killed for a long time, since even before World War II, since before the Bolshevik Revolution, they tried to destroy socialist thought, but obviously World War II and the Cold War are two examples where it happened a lot, that we got killed for just our own views. So maybe don't play the victim, because your views, the conservative views, have always been the popular, unfortunately. in most countries, in the West at least. I've seen this on Twitter recently about socialists saying that the US immigration and nationalization forms question your affiliation to communism as a disqualifier, but never question about fascist leaning. So, yeah, I would say socialists are definitely discriminated for their views in the West, because look at what the West is still doing to South America. And you'll have all your proof. And Amanda, as a South American, should know that communism and socialism have been thriving there, but then the West every time would have to, interfere because they need to be the fucking dominant force in the world, and they have done a lot of damage to her little continent, and I don't understand how she doesn't care about that. Just a quick tweet to remind all of you leftists that I have zero shame about having supported Donald Trump for the last 4 years, and I stand unapologetically with every patriot in this country. Your smears have and will continue to inspire me. I will never be silenced. The thing is, again, saying that you support Donald Trump does not make you more of a patriot than people who are on the left. Because ultimately, I can accept that in your own way you think you're doing the right thing for your country, and I think me, on the left, I'm doing the right thing for everyone that I talk to and for every country that I shall ever live in. I would always do the right thing, and I feel like the right thing is communism, and you don't agree with that, and that's fine. But you shouldn't say that you are a patriot and they're not, because they just see the ideal country as a different thing. It doesn't mean they don't care about that country. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. envisioned a better world filled with truth and equality. We honor him today and are reminded that violence is not the answer, light and love is always the way. I just think you should get his name out of your mouth, because he would not like what you're doing here. And by the way, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Angela Davis, all of these amazing black activists have been socialists and communists. So it's not for you to quote them, Amanda, because you are a conservative and they were not. And you would have probably hated them if you knew them in real life. Get away from Facebook and put your face in the book. I just think that's kind of really, really ironic that you're posting this on Twitter telling us to get off social media. So why are you on social media? I wish this picture of Joe Biden holding hands with the leader of the KKK would go viral. And apparently people have been saying, I'm not too sure about this, obviously not being American, I don't know every single nuance, but people have been saying that this was not actually the leader of KKK. So, I don't know. And the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if Biden had ties with them, but I think Trump and like everybody else has ties with them as well. Because America is rooted so deeply into white supremacy that I wouldn't be shocked if both of them had the same ties with these groups. And then she retweeted this. This is one of many reasons I will never apologize for supporting President Trump and his administration. And it's basically a pro-life thing, which by how progressive I feel like I portray myself as, you can tell how I feel about this. I'm obviously pro-choice, so I'm not even gonna debate this one bit. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to upholding the unalienable rights of all Americans. Today we honor his work in advancing social justice and equality in the United States by serving our communities and country. Again, he was a socialist, so maybe don't do this shit. Just in, California lifts COVID-19 stay-at-home order for all regions just days after Joe Biden took office. I don't understand why she retweeted this. Is this bad? Like, is wanting to save lives from COVID bad? So far, under Biden, ISIS miraculously appeared again. We are back to sending military convoys to the Middle East. They never left. And yeah, ISIS appearing, I thought that was suspicious too. But at the same time, I genuinely feel like they never left. It was just maybe less shown in the media, in the Western, like English-speaking media. Drug prices were raised for the most vulnerable. I don't agree with that. Again, I don't like Biden. Energy prices rose. Some of the highest COVID death rates. That's not really Biden's control. It's the fact that Trump didn't have any quarantine. Like, for the COVID part, it's Trump's fault. And it just like accumulated. Thousands of union jobs killed, and it's only day 5. Yeah, and Biden's horrible. Nobody likes him. People wanted Bernie. I don't like Bernie necessarily. But I feel like you don't really have a left in America. And Bernie is probably the most left that you could ever get as far as this old white men go. And yeah, Bernie would have been better than Biden, definitely. Biden is now reversing the executive order put into place by President Trump to reduce pricing for insulin and epinephrine. Hopefully, I said that right. I don't know how you say that. This is not a partisan issue and will harm Americans. Yeah, and again, you think that just because somebody is a president, it means that you have to agree with everything they do? Like, I don't get it. You can still hold somebody accountable without praising Trump. It's just weird behavior that you think this is a pick and choose. You can criticize both. Trump is a man of his word. Trump Hotel in DC. So these are obviously, this picture is supposed to parallel this other picture of the military people being in buildings, sleeping in parking garages. And The thing is, most of these people have been war criminals, and I don't feel that much sympathy for them. So God bless our military. This is disgraceful how they are being treated. Honestly, at this point I don't understand why people still join the military in the US. Like, you should know you're treated like dirt, because what happened in Vietnam with the veterans afterwards was actually disgusting. Although, as I said, I don't really feel sympathy for them, it doesn't mean that I think it's right morally. I just think that people shouldn't fucking join the military anymore after everything that is known about how US treats veterans, and UK as well, to be honest. I live in England, so I've heard a lot of bad stories about veterans here as well. We walk by faith, not by sight. Justice and truth are coming. God has never lost a battle. Again, nothing happened. So this was when Biden was officially inaugurated, I think, and we are now like 2 weeks later when I'm filming this, and nothing has happened. Be still and trust God. My faith and beliefs aren't moving or shaken. God isn't on our calendar, and His plans are bigger than our own. Pray for peace and truth. God is on the move. The best is yet to come. I just genuinely feel like the way she talks is so cultish and brainwashed and scary. That she's not rational anymore. You know, like, religion obviously is something sacred and very important, and I'm very religious, but I just think there's a limit. There's a limit of when you make this whole thing your whole personality. You give me vibes of like cult leaders, and it's not nice. It's creepy, it's scary. I don't know why people want to see that. Anyways guys, this has been everything for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more commentary, comment down below what you think about Amanda, because honestly I think she's a mess, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Ever since the day that you